So joining us this morning from Capitol Hill is Congressman Mike Quigley. And Congressman, thank you so much for your time. Let's get right into this. Speaker Pelosi said yesterday she's going to introduce a resolution that would limit the president's war powers. How do you expect that to play out?
I suspect it will probably pass in the House and will have a little more difficulty in the Senate. Although after yesterday's briefing, I heard two Republican senators who were quite disappointed in the briefing talk about how they would probably support a War Powers Act. Let's remember a couple things. As we know, the Constitution says that Congress, only Congress, can decide when and where we go to war. It has abdicated that responsibility. And it is extremely clear that the president is acting on Article 2 and a 2002 authorization to use military force in Iraq. This country may be divided, but I know the American public doesn't want another war.
Do you believe that you will only specifically trying to limit his war powers? Will you be specifically looking at Iran only, or will you expand this to more countries where we have potential conflicts with?
Look, I think your point's a good one, and I think we should do it throughout the entire region. And as it relates to North Korea, these are very scary times. These are important decisions. The Constitution said that Congress has this power. I don't think that Congress has made such a decision in my lifetime. It's time that we quit abdicating that responsibility. Even during the Obama administration, Democrats and Republicans talked about what Congress should or shouldn't do involving the war powers ability. It's time that they step out of the virtual shadows of this and make public decisions.
I want to get a reading, Congressman, kind of gauge your concern, because just yesterday we know that a couple of rockets impacted inside the green zone. We know nobody was hurt, but given the fact that Iran relies so heavily on proxy attacks, Shia militias, how concerned are you, Congressman, that there might be an attack where an American life is lost and we find ourselves right back where we were?
I think you're absolutely right, and I was just shocked that the president said that he thinks Iran is standing down. We need to be more vigilant than ever. There are militia groups that don't listen necessarily to Iran. They are in Iraq. Iran is the world's largest exporter of terrorism through Hezbollah and other proxies, as you describe. The dangers are very real. They could be covert, they could be overt, they could be cyber, they could involve our allies, and of course I believe they could involve the homeland.
What are your thoughts on additional sanctions? I mean, already Iran is feeling the squeeze, and there are some people who are concerned, you know, without food or water, they're already in a dangerous place, and that any more sanctions could make it worse.
I think the first tact is that we need to do this on a multilateral basis. The United States can't act as we did when we pulled out of the Iran deal unilaterally. Other countries stayed there, and of course after this attack, Iran has pulled out entirely and are free to build a nuclear weapon. Whatever we decide to do to rein in Iranian aggressive efforts has to be done across international boundaries. If that includes sanctions, we need to recognize the pressure they're under right now. In the final analysis, this has to be diplomacy, because as I said, and I feel certain that this country does not want another war.
A lot of Americans would agree with you there, Congressman. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Anytime.